So I'd say if you combined Rush Hour and Bridesmaids, you would get The Heat, starring Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, from the director of Bridesmaids. Now, Sandra Bullock is an FBI agent in this movie, and Melissa McCarthy plays a detective. They're both after basically the exact same thing, and they both have different personal things that are connected to this case that they're both trying to solve. Except Melissa McCarthy is way more street. Like, she just does things her way. She doesn't wear a uniform or anything. She just walks around and beats people up, essentially, does whatever she wants. Sandra Bullock is the more straight-laced, uptight, I'm gonna do this by the book kind of officer, and so they clash as they try to solve this case, and we get a buddy cop movie that's pretty cliched, very predictable, and actually not that bad. I am extremely surprised because I saw the trailers for The Heat and I thought it looked awful. I really thought it looked terrible, and I like Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock, and so I was watching this trailer just like, ugh. But this movie actually did have me laughing consistently despite the cliches and the predictability. I like these two characters, and they had really great chemistry with one another, and despite the fact that I knew basically every single beat that was going to be happening in this movie, I found myself enjoying it quite a bit. Don't look at this movie and think, well, it stars two girls, it's not going to be raunchy. This movie is more raunchy than a lot of the male-centric comedies I've seen this year, and largely because of Melissa McCarthy, who is a force of nature in this movie. She is very good, a little annoying at times, but not because of her performance. It was really her character that was supposed to be annoying, but it becomes sort of a lovable annoying after a while, and you sort of understand why she is the way she is. And there's actually a surprising amount of underlying depth between these characters, and I was really shocked by that. And it was really those two characters that continue to save the movie for me, and that's why I continue to be interested in watching it. And there were some side elements to the movie with different supporting characters, like Marlon Wayans, for instance, shows up. I liked his character, and I thought he added a surprising amount of maturity to the movie, actually, because generally the Wayans brothers aren't really known for like mature humor, but he actually did a pretty good job in the film, I thought. All in all, The Heat is definitely a movie that will give you some laughs, I think. It's easy, though, to be annoyed by this movie and maybe possibly hate it. If you saw this movie and were like, wow, that really got under my skin, I hated it because I couldn't stand Melissa McCarthy's character or Sandra Bullock's character, I wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, you're dumb, you're stupid. I'd be like, yeah, I can see that. But I can also see you going into this movie and having a good time because of the characters. I think the characters continue to make this movie interesting and fun to watch. And even though you know like each beat that's coming and you can see where things are going, it was an enjoyable time overall. I will say that there was one scene that I felt went way too far with a knife, and one scene that I felt went way too far with a straw. Like, these two scenes, I was like, what? Like, it was just totally out of nowhere. It didn't seem to fit in the movie at all. It was just like this strange, sudden burst of violent comedy. I didn't really get it, and it didn't really work for me. But for the most part, I enjoy The Heat. It is predictable. It is cliched. It's nothing really remarkable or special, but if you go into The Heat for some laughs, I would say you're going to get them. I'm going to give The Heat a B- because from a comedy standpoint, I go there to laugh. And I laughed quite a bit in this movie, largely because of Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock's comedic chemistry. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I appreciate it, and as always, if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.